Welcome, guys. The show is hashtag right here on VOP TV. I am Vivian, and I got my co-anchor here, Ikechukwu. Guys, it's always a pleasure to have you hang out with us. Yeah, but for starters, though, why don't we have Ikechukwu say hello to you?
Good evening, Vivian. Good
Yes.
evening to all you.
You're good to go?
Very good day.
All right, guys, it's going to be a busy one. I got an awesome guest who's going to be joining us today, and we are going to be talking a lot about the River State LG poll. Former Goodluck Jonathan's talk about credibility when it comes to electioneering in Nigeria. And then we'll also talk about his eligibility. Is he going to run or isn't he going to run? Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo just advised him, please do not run, sir, for your own good. We'll find out why. Finally, we'll also talk about Osun LG funds. The federal government has withheld the local government funds in Osun State for over 6 months, really. We're going to be talking about all of these, guys, and much more. So if this is your very first time joining us, please accept this very warm welcome from us right here on hashtag. Without further ado, I welcome my guest on board, Jide Benson. He's a politician, also a public affairs commentator. Jide, such a good thing to have you jump on the show with us today. Thank you for coming. You need to unmute your device so we can hear you. Have you unmuted? All right, so Jide, let's have you unmute your device and then have you say something to us so we can know that you're hearing us loud.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear. You're welcome aboard. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, this is the very first time.
Pleasure.
I'm hoping that this is the beginning of good things to come, yeah? All right, so let's talk about...
Looking forward to it.
Yes, let's talk about the River State LG poll. Just concluded. Reactions are beginning to pour in, feedback and all of that. So the electoral umpire is saying that if you've got any grouse, just go to the court. So the ADC is hopping on that particular one and is already heading to the courts, actually. So let's talk about what you feel or what you think about the Rivers LG poll. Yeah, it happened on Saturday. The APC carted away 20 out of 23 seats, and the PDP got 3. ADC got nothing. Fubara'S and his allies actually stayed away. Wike went home smiling and promised that the emergency rule is going to be lifted soon, but it looks like that's not going to be the case, though. What do you make of this whole saga in Rivers State?
Well, it appears that it is finally and completely one man's fiefdom. I don't know when Mr. Nyesom Wike became the spokesperson of the president or the presidency to be able to say that the emergency rule will be over soon. Nobody knows. I'm not sure that the president has voiced that at any forum. Yes, the emergency rule was put in place for 6 months in the first instance. Yes, we know that there have been efforts to call for a truce. We know that there's been meetings between the president and the suspended governor and several other stakeholders. But for it to be coming from Mr. Nyesom Wike is something that gives me a bit of concern. Now, that said, let's talk about the local government elections. The local government elections that are held on Saturday is not any different from what has happened in many states. Very recently, I participated in the one in Lagos State, and it was a far cry from what elections are meant to be. Beyond voter apathy, you can talk about the figures that were clearly manufactured, because there's no way you can piece together the very low turnout and the numbers that were announced. And that has been the hallmark of our local government elections in well over 10 years. So I am one of those who argue that the local government elections should be conducted at about the same time by the National Electoral Umpire, because many of the people who run the state electoral commissions, I've said that three times
yeah.
for a reason. Yes, because there's an eye that I think that they erroneously put in it. Those state commissions are not in any way or form independent. So the I that they put in it, whether it's LASEC or RIFSEC or TARSEC or whatever SEC, they should just call them SEC, SEC, because they're not in any way, shape, or form independent. Many of the people who are members of those commissions are card-carrying members of the states where they serve. And I see this from experience.
So I want you to tell us your story a little bit. Yeah, so this is so good because we are giving a human angle twist to this whole gist.
Yes.
Tell us the party you contested under and really what you contested for. Just tell us your story and walk us through it.
No, I ran for chairman of Surulere local government on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. It was an interesting one. Interesting because beyond the talk and the discussions of WhatsApp groups and complaints and lamentation, what I did was what you would refer to as boots on the ground. I got into what is referred to as the murky waters. I'm not particularly sure how murky it was, but like I said, I enjoyed it. It was interesting. It was good to connect with the people directly. It was good to see. It was good to hear. It was good to feel what actually goes on in the electioneering process. And it was interesting to know that some people actually want genuine change. Some people are very okay with the status quo and would die to make sure that it remains as is. So it was a good experience for me all through. I have absolutely no regret that I ventured out and that I launched out.
Okay, good thing.
So Mr. Jide, at what point did you look at the whole thing and say, you know what, okay, let me rephrase. Was there any point you regretted ever participating and why?
Like I said, I enjoyed every bit of it. It was interesting. So I don't regret that I ran. If I had concerns, I wouldn't refer to them as regrets, and I wouldn't wish. It is simply that we all have a lot of work to do rather than being TV or radio commentators and analysts.
I like that.
A lot more people who are good intentioned need to join political parties, need to join civil society organizations, need to become community mobilizers, need to get active within their local communities. The saying that all politics is local is valid anywhere. I saw it and I felt it. I call myself a Surulere boy. I've lived in Surulere almost all of my life. I know the nooks and crannies. I know the streets. I know our challenges, and I had a definitely clear path, to take us to what you refer to as next level, or to give us better outcomes. But clearly, there are people who are entrenched in the existing structure and will do anything to hold on to it. So I have no regrets. Given the opportunity, I'm happy to be an advisor or a counselor to a lot of people or a strategist who want to do it, because a lot more of us, people like you and you, need to get involved somehow.
So you said something about the SEC being not independent, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
I want to believe that before you actually ventured, throw your heart into the ring, you've seen this sequence played out numerous times.
Yes.
What do you think should be the solution to help, get the proper independence as regards local government election?
Well, the solutions are out there already. They have been advanced by different people, opinion molders, lawyers, elder statesmen or women or what have you. The process of appointing these people should be more open and transparent. It should be akin to what you call a presentation by them, what their agenda is. They should be screened, not just having just been appointed. I think that a number of people should be given an opportunity to apply, or a number of people should be selected and presented before maybe a body that would then make a choice out of who they are. I also think that the election should be uniform. I don't know where you were in 1998, beginning of December, the first series of elections that heralded our current democracy. It was the local government elections. So the first elections that are held in our current democracy was the local government elections in December 1998. And thereafter, we had the governorship elections and the National Assembly and presidential elections. But today, different states hold the local government elections at different times. So what you then have is a situation where people are not even aware that local government elections are holding in their states, and that also is deliberate. And then you also have a situation where the governor of the state calls the shots. So because it's quite funny and interesting that almost all local government elections are won by the same party. Almost all the councillors are won by the same party, and I don't see how that is really a possibility. So what they're saying in essence is that one party presented the best candidate with all the best ideas, so people didn't have a right to people didn't have a reason to think differently or act differently. So my suggestion would be we have to find a way to make the local government's elections uniform. Hold at the same time, maybe a few weeks before the general elections or a few weeks after that, or about the same period, and it should be conducted by the National Electoral Umpire.
Okay, so let's take you back to Rivers State now, where
Yes.
it is Wike versus Fubara. What do you think is on the table really for the suspended governor Sim Fubara? Where does his fate lie, or what's really in the stars for him at this moment?
Well, I wish I was a political prophet or fortune teller.
Or maybe you had a crystal ball or something.
Just maybe I had a political crystal ball. And today is September 2nd. In about 14 or 15 days, we will see how this will pan out.
Yeah.
I also have a feeling that he just might be allowed to return to office, only to come and complete his term. I think that he has been humbled by this experience. But ultimately, I still think that there's a future that he has. Times and seasons will not always be in favor of one person or a few persons. The will of the people should be more important than the will of one man or two men. So those who are having a ball today should know that nothing really lasts forever. He'll be returning to office. It's my hope and prayer, and have the opportunity to finish the job that he has to. And don't forget that by the time he gets back into office, the same House of Assembly with which he has had a running battle will also be back in place. So he then has to work with people who are, for want of a better word or expression, his enemies, because these people gave him grief for the period before the emergency rule was declared. So it will be interesting to see how things will play out or pan out from September 18 or September 17.
Before Ikechukwu comes in, it brings me to this question. Yeah, in the heat of it all, Fubara had said his spirit had left the government house.
Yes.
Right? If you were in his shoes, will you return? Really?
Well, I can understand where that is coming from. It seemed like he was acting more in the interest of the people. Clearly, we know who his major traducer is. If I were him, would I return to the office? Yes. I have a job to do. I have a job to finish. There are projects that were started and need to be completed. The person who has come, the saying that when two brothers fight, an outsider will inherit your assets has come to manifestation. Because what you find is that the person who has come in on a temporary or an interim basis has come with his own agenda, added to the agenda of those who gave him an assignment. So if Fubara, for instance, decides that he's not coming back, I don't think that the people of Rivers State will be the winners for it. Don't forget, he also had his own supporters. He had supporters who were politicians. He had supporters who were not politicians. He had supporters who were elder statesmen who were more interested in the governance and the leadership of the state. If he says he's not coming back, that means he would have allowed his traducers to have victory all the way. And I think that there's still a need for the fight to be in the man that he is.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you actually pulled that very particular person from my heart. But let me ask you this. So, given the circumstance, right, do you really think Fubara, as a person, actually went about this whole thing the right way? Because a lot of persons were saying he actually didn't read the room before he started acting. If you were in his shoes, what would you have thought?
Well, so you can't blame Fubara just like that. You would also consider that he was not a politician. He was a political.
That's why we're asking you. You're a politician.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, he was a political novice. I'm not in Rivers State. it is easy for people to just sit and analyze to say, oh, he didn't read the room. How better could he have read the room? If he didn't fight, people would have said he didn't fight. He has fought. People now say he shouldn't have fought. We have seen such instances in different other states, in states close to you and I, in states far away, where one governor puts in place a successor, and the person tries to break away, and it becomes a free for all. We have seen it. Fubara has done how he has done it how he knows how, or how he knew how to. We have seen the outcome. Certainly, he has learned lessons from this. All of us have learned lessons from it. People from other states have learned lessons for it. So I'm not here to judge him. By the time he gets back into office, we'll see how he'll play it out for the next 2 years.
Which brings us to this case of godfatherism in Nigerian politics. I don't know if do you have a godfather?
God is my father.
That was smart. That was so smart. Two more questions, though. If you were given the opportunity to run again, would you do it?
Oh, yes, I will.
All right. Is there any thought or consideration of you decamping or cross-carpeting from the PDP to the APC, which seems to be the thing right now,
Not at the moment.
All right.
Those questions have been asked, and this has been my answer. Because and I don't say this because I'm altruistic. Opposition politics is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need to play opposition. So if I run and I do not win, and then I become to the party in government, then it probably means that I didn't have an agenda to actually serve all the while. Because some people do what I did to be able to get the attention of the party in government and to be invited to the table and be given a position. Opposition politics is what brought the APC into power. The coalition between the APGA and the Action Congress of Nigeria and CPC and the part of, I think, PPA or what have you, they played opposition for a long time. And I think that is what helped them, such that even when they got into office, they were still acting like the opposition. So I would enjoy and I would like to be in opposition, at least for now.
All right, that's a safe place to land on this particular one. Let's move on to the next one. Is this hashtag credibility. So former President Goodluck Jonathan is saying that for you to have any kind of credible election in Nigeria, that the electoral umpire must be screened and nominated independently. He's asking bodies like the judiciary, trade unions, student associations, as well as the civil society organizations should be in a committee that would independently screen and nominate the electoral umpire. He said it is only when that is done that Nigeria can move forward. Do you agree?
Absolutely, 101%. And you see, we have to give it to former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. He's preaching what he practiced. If you cast your mind back to when he appointed the chairman of INEC, who conducted the elections, which he lost, Professor Atahiru Jega, he had mentioned then at the time Jega was first appointed that he had never met Jega before. I think he sent a search party out when he was going to appoint the INEC chairman at the expiration of the previous person. And he had said, whether it's true or not is a different thing, that he had never met Jega, he never knew him. He had never met Jega, he only knew him by virtue of his name as president of ASU, because both of them were in the education sector, both of them were in the university. And I think that Jega acquitted himself well. The very first elections that he conducted, President Jonathan won. And by the time President Jonathan was going to run for office again, he then lost. And after office, he has lived true to the description of what an elder statesman could be. And so the counsel that he's giving it from a place of somebody who has been there, who has done that. He clearly has experience more than a lot of us, possibly more than those who are in government today. And it aligns with what I had said earlier on that, look, the appointment of some of these people should be more open. Maybe we have a list of people who are nominated, and then we can then begin to prune, we can then begin to shortlist, we'll go do background checks on every one of them, and then by the time we have a final, maybe 2 or 3, they go through a final rigorous process, and then scores are ratings are allotted, and one of them becomes the electoral umpire, because it's an assignment that the president is going to have in a matter of weeks or months to appoint an INEC chairman, and I'm sure that everybody is watching to see what will happen.
All right, you do know that there's been talks about the former president returning, to Aso Rock. We'll talk about that in a short while. But there's something you said that stuck, that Professor Jega lived up to his billing. But cast your mind back to what happened on that day when the former president lost the elections. Elder Orubebe would not have any of it. He felt Professor Jega had sold out and all of that. But you don't seem to think so. You seem to think the professor did what he needed to do, right?
Well, maybe if you compare him to other chairmen before him or after him, he's a silver lining in the dark cloud.
Okay.
I'm not saying he was perfect.
All right. That's safe, yeah?
So, okay. So, given what you said, I was just thinking, it seems like it's a norm for politicians to leave power and just all of a sudden have the right solution to the problems that Nigerians have. So I was thinking, right, he was the president between 2011 to 2015, even before 2011, but I just don't want to look at that part. So why was it difficult for him, having the state architecture, having majority of the people in the House of Assembly that would have done what he wanted? Why was it difficult for him to actually create this particular system where trade union, judiciary, and create this body that would independently screen the INEC chairman instead of asking people to go get or go fetch someone for him? Why is it difficult?
So we see things differently at different points in time. If you have had the opportunity to serve or to lead, at the time you're in government, the things you see and the way you see them are definitely different from when you flip the scripts. Okay, you see things from a different perspective. As a matter of fact, you then learn that, if I had the opportunity, or if I wish I was able to look at it from a different prism, this is what I would have done differently. Everybody has an opportunity to reflect. So do you, so does Madame, so do I. So now he's probably saying that with the benefit of hindsight, and possibly because people are going to ask him questions. Don't forget that we have not allowed the man to be. We have not allowed him to enjoy retirement. He has been sought after. He's been invited to places. And in my estimation, that's one of the hallmarks of a person that was a good leader, regardless of his flaws. Some people have left office and nobody looked for them. Nobody sought after them. They've just been abandoned and forgotten, possibly until they died. So the fact that President Jonathan is having different platforms to speak, his name is being mentioned, the things he says are considered as topical, it means that he has something to offer, and possibly did some things right.
So talking about the hallmark of a good leader, I think you agree with me if I say the hallmark of a good leader is someone who has actually seen the problem before coming into office, understood the problem, and then have the problem solved while in office. I mean, coming into office and then start scrambling over the years after you leave office, all of a sudden you see solutions to the problem. I don't think that sounds like the hallmark of a good leader, because I mean, if you look at the President Jonathan and other leaders before him and after him, they've all told the same line. They come into office and they don't see anything, and after they leave, I'm very sure when Tinubu leave office, they will definitely rule all the solutions that will fix Nigeria in one day.
I think Jude already answered this. He already answered it. Okay, so go ahead.
You probably have heard that politicians campaign in poetry and govern in prose. During electioneering, it is okay to talk. As they say, talk is cheap. You must say the best things that the people want to hear. You can have an agenda. Almighty Obama, when he got into office, the charm and the grace and the swag he had, when he got into White House, he started to see things differently. He couldn't move as fast as he wanted to. He couldn't move as swiftly as he wanted to. There were guardrails, whether it's the Constitution or the Congress or the National Assembly in our own case, or even the civil service, or even politicians. Some things will checkmate you. There will be hurdles. So when the military is in power, that's why they suspend the Constitution. That's why they govern by executive fiat. if you found yourself in office today, you would realize what those people have gone through. Trust me.
All right, talking about the Constitution, it is hashtag eligibility now, and we are still sticking with the former President Goodluck Jonathan. There's been so much chatter about him returning to the presidency in 2027, right? The PDP, your party, has made no bones about wooing him. I don't know if you would talk to that a little bit. But also, his brother and close allies have come out to say the former president is actually ready to come back and, you know, give the APC a run for their money. But the president himself, the former president himself, has not said anything. He's not said anything. It's just his brother and his close friends that have been talking. But today, though, there's the video that is trending online. His wife, Patience Jonathan, is saying, God has given you this thing once. You've tasted it. That why do you want to go again? As for her, she's not going again, you know, and all of that. Now, Festus Keyamo, the aviation minister, has also come out to say that, sir, please do not run again for your own sake because of legal obstacles, right? They're saying because he's already been, you know, president twice, so it's not actually safe for him to run again. What's your take on all of this chatter?
Okay, so let me start from the home front. When people run for office, there's often the earliest consultation from the home. Husband agrees with wife, wife agrees with woman, they carry the children along because it's going to cause a major shift in the family dynamics. The family name is going to be called out. There's going to be dirt, there's going to be stain, there's going to be, to use social media expression, dragging. You know, in politics, they say that if you want to know the people, what do you call it? If you want to know the true story of your family, get into politics. What you didn't know, you will find it. I understand where Dr. Mrs. Jonathan is talking from, and I don't think that she was speaking more recently. I think that video is an old video that has just found relevance at this time.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is a very, very personal view because I think I've seen that video a long time before President Jonathan's name started being bandied around this time around.
Okay.
But I think that if he makes a good sales speech to her and she remembers the razzmatazz of being the first lady, she might have a rethink. So that's on that. What Keyamo is saying is counsel. And at the end of the day, as a lawyer, he can give counsel. And if President Jonathan were his client, he determines whether he wants to take the counsel or not. But I also think that he's playing safe, knowing that if President Jonathan decides to run, he will get the votes on basis of sympathy. He'll get the votes on the basis of the platform that he's running on, and several other things will come into play because people know him. They have seen what he did, and the fact that he will be running for only one term. So I don't think that there's any constitutional glitch or hitch, because had he won the elections in 2015, he would have been sworn in for the third term, which Keyamo is referring to. He had been sworn in 2011. In 2010, in 2010, in 2011, and he would have been sworn in again in 2015. So, which meant that had he won in 2015, the third time he would have been sworn in, and that's what Keyamo is talking about. So I don't think it's much of any issue to be worried about.
All right, so before Ikechukwu comes in, two things. The former President Goodluck Jonathan has come out to say, this was yesterday, that Mr. Minister Festus Keyamo, I don't need your advice. He also told that to Professor Dikandou to say that I have senior advocates, right, who are on my billing, so I don't need you to tell me stuff. So he turned it down, basically. Now you talked about.
I mean, like I said, Keyamo was playing to the gallery. He was playing safe. Okay. He's probably threatened by the stature of President Jonathan. I don't think that President Jonathan needs to look outside for advice. He had a minister of Justice and Attorney General when he was president. He had a special advisor on legal affairs. He has a body of senior advocates. He doesn't even need to pay for that kind of counsel. So yeah, so Keyamo should face the airlines.
Oh my gosh, you should face the airlines. All right, and so much drama there when it comes to the aviation sector.
Indeed.
But yeah, talk about his stature. A lot of people have come out to say that the former president has squandered his political relevance. I don't know if you've heard stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Ikechukwu, I don't know if you want to jump on that before Jide comes.
Well, squander his political relevance. I don't think he has squandered his political relevance. I just think when you leave the stage, right, definitely the spotlight leaves you. And politics is about being on the spotlight. And the more you stay on the spotlight, the more relevant you become. And for a couple of years now, he's been off power, and that's exactly why people think he's squandered. But outside power, he's not done anything that will make people say he's squandered his political relevance. He's been very, very consistent. In fact, he's one of the leaders in Africa people look up to because of that single act of calling the former president late PMB. So I don't think as regards that, no. But my question was to his eligibility. There were rumors that our constitution was amended shortly after former late president got into office. There was a clause in the electoral law, I think section 138 of our constitution, I think subsection 3, that anyone. Nobody can actually be sworn in twice. I remember he was sworn in, when Yar'Adua was confirmed dead, and of course he was sworn in again in 2011. So that particular clause was actually inserted in 2017, 2 years after he left office.
But this clause you just talked about, you started by saying that there was a rumor.
Yes.
So we are not sure if this is for real.
But a lot of persons have been talking. But the thing is, what I see here, this is where my question to him is coming to. Could it be that this whole Jonathan story is a kite flown by the APC? Because, of course, I look at the merger. I look at the proposed merger, the ADC, the key players coming to the ADC, and how this weight, if they come together, looking at the vote they pulled in the last election individually, they're definitely going to oust this government. Right? Could it be that this Jonathan kite is an APC kite to actually soft pedal whatever it is that's going on in the coalition, knowing that the best bet for the coalition also to win is to actually zone the tickets to a southern candidate? Okay,
Jide, the floor is yours.
I don't think that President Jonathan is a dummy that can be sold. I think that 10 years out of office, he would have learned a lot more and would not allow himself to be used as a red herring by the APC. I disagree with what you've said, that when he left office, much hasn't been heard about him. He has been invited time and again by the ECOWAS, by the AU, and several international bodies to oversee elections. You don't call on entities to do that. He has authored a book, he has delivered lectures and all that. Those are the same things that presidents in the US, in the UK and other countries do when they leave office. They go to give talks. They are given international assignments. I don't think that President Buhari had that opportunity since he left office before he passed away. So I think that President Jonathan's reputation has towered. Even if it hasn't towered, it has not diminished. He has been a person of access. He has been a person that has been sought after. And that's the only reason why they would even consider him. He's not the only person that was in the party. There are people younger than him. There are people who have also served as governors or senators or ministers whose next destination should naturally be the presidency. And for the party to be considering him, it means that they know that there's some goodwill that they can leverage.
Seeing as the party is your party, the PDP, and based on what you just said, it means that the PDP is actually considering giving the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, the slot? Really? Is that what I hear you say? Are you guys considering it?
Well, the people at the upper echelon of the party will be able to say that, but for certain, I know that his name is being mentioned in circles, the same way the name of former Governor Peter Obi is being mentioned. Because again, it works. It works for the rotational north-south exchange of the presidency of Nigeria. If President Jonathan were to be given the ticket now and he wins, he'll govern for only one term, which will then get power to go to the north. So it's a fantastic candidacy than getting a new person altogether who would then want to run for 2 terms. And then there will be issues of the North has done this, the South has done this, is the son of a Muslim, is the son of a Christian. Things that personally I think are unimportant.
All right. Now you talked about a younger person really, having not having the kind of goodwill that the former president has. Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has been talked about a lot not too long ago. You do realize that some months ago, actually, he was asked by an interviewer that if you were given the opportunity to run for the presidency, would you? He said yes, and he also said he was going to do a good job of it. So a number of people are saying that your party zoning the presidency slot to the south might bring on people like Seyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State. Do you see that happening to run for the presidency in 2027?
Well, the tickets of the party won't be limited to any person. You know that, as I mentioned, when people have been governor, what they would naturally want to aim for again is to be president or to be senator. Those are the only two other offices that make sense that they can run for, or to be appointed minister. So Governor Seyi Makinde is possibly speaking into the future. Does he have a brand name and recognition that is pan-Nigerian? Your guess is as good as mine. If he were placed side by side, former Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and Governor Peter Obi, in terms of recognition, name recognition and brand recognition, would he come first or second or third? I think your guess is as good as mine. It's okay to have ambition. I do like that. It's okay to be aspirational. But I do not think that if President Jonathan gives this a serious thought and takes a decision to accept the invitation, that Governor Makinde will be a tough competition.
Okay, so
he's done a great job, no doubt, as governor of Oyo State, and he's my man anytime, any day. I root for him.
All right. So we will both agree that the people running the affairs of the PDP at this point are the G5 governors, headed by the current FCT minister Nyesom Wike, who is very, very much. I don't know if you can actually help us, determine the political party he's part of at this point, because I mean, a lot of persons think he's an APC member putting on a PDP jersey. Some other persons even believe he's a PDP member just doing the APC's errand. So I don't know. But then looking at this, and of course, Nyesom Wike has come out to say that he's going to support anyone that is supporting the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027. Now, looking at the PDP flying the kite, that's why I asked the question the first time. Does it make sense that the PDP, the key players in the PDP are actually tilting towards the APC, or the key player, because of course Wike seems like the biggest brand in the PDP now, is tilting towards the APC, and the same PDP is actually flying the Jonathan's card? How do we reconcile all of this, and what position? How do the PDP give us a defined headway come 2027 as regards this whole thing?
Okay, so first of all, I don't think that the G5 exists as it did before the 2023 elections. Those governors, 3 of them are no longer in office. The governor of Abia, Enugu, and Benue states, they are all more like essays to the minister of the federal capital, who was their captain. And Governor Seyi Makinde is fully back in the party, trying to rebuild the party. So first of all, the G5 doesn't exist anymore. That's number one. Number two is that the party is gradually getting its act together, and the national convention will be held. The congresses are about now holding in different parts of the countries, the regional congresses. And so in November in Oyo State, if you've been following the news, that's where the final activities will take place. I do not.
Let him land. You do not see what you can come in. You do not see what now.
I do not see that Governor Wike would have his way in scuttling the activities of the party. He has had it thus far, and the final point is that only Wike knows where Wike is, whether he's in APC or in the PDP. And I think that he's playing this game hedging his bets, because were he to declare for the APC today, he will be checkmated. He knows that the dance and drama that he does would have come to an end, because he wouldn't have to abide by the dictates of the APC.
Right. But there seems to be a very strong, scratch my back, I scratch your back relationship between the president and even Seyi Makinde at the 2023 elections, where they both got what they want in their personal pursuits. And now we also have Wike's, close ally in person of Sam Daddy, who is also called Sam Anyanwu, and also Damagun, who are more like the people held in the PDP as regards position at this point. So if you say that, Seyi Makinde is actually trying to actually control, the party, because it seems like, he's the biggest fish considering he's a governor, and of course he's got deep pocket to actually, help, shore the party together. And with the kind of relationship he's got with the president in 2023, does it not seem also point to the same position where Wike is also pushing headed, which is also to give, APC a soft landing for 2027?
Okay, so the situation in 2023 is clearly different from what it is now, and it will be different by this time next year. Those situations will be clearly different. Governor Seyi Makinde did what he had to do. A lot of what happened at that time was what you call a special purpose vehicle for everybody to get what they want. Now everybody has gotten what they want, and it will now in some form be to like tend to Israel situation. Definitely Governor Seyi Makinde has an ambition. I do not think that he would run for president. This is a very personal view. And if he did, I don't think that he can oust the incumbent.
All right. So before we leave that matter and go to the next hashtag, though, your party has said that it's going to discipline any member involved in anti-party activities. I don't know if the FCT minister and former governor, Wike, I don't know if what he's doing right now will qualify for anti-party activities. Him actually supporting the president, Bola Tinubu, in 2027 while remaining in the PDP. Does that qualify for anti-party activities? And are you guys going to be disciplining him anytime soon, like it was promised, really?
Right. A slight disclaimer. I'm a member of the party at the state level. So what you seek to know, those are decisions that can be taken by the people at the neck and the NWC of the party. Right. And I do not play at that point at this time.
Okay.
So yes, it constitutes anti-party activity. It's not the serving in the government that is anti-party activity in my view. It is the declaration of support for the president and still being a member of the PDP. So yes, the party needs to do what it needs to do. Governor Wike has been accommodated for so long. I agree. I align with Basharodele Momodu, who said that if he were in a position, he would have taken action on Governor Wike a long time ago, former Governor Wike a long time ago.
All right, that's a safe place to land. That was very well said, Jide. I must give that to you. Finally, last hashtag for today is hashtag Osun LG funds. So it was a shocking revelation when a chieftain of your party, Chief Bode George, came out to say that for the past 6 months, it has been the Adeleke's that have been paying the local government staffers from their pockets, including the Governor Ademola Adeleke, his elder brother,
Deji.
Yes, Deji Adeleke, and the singer, Deji's son, Davido. They've been the one funding the local government. So the federal government has been withholding funds for 6 months now. It's a little bit dicey, though. I don't know if you're familiar with this particular subject. And what do you make of it, though?
Well, this first thing I would say is it's interesting. And I think we should have more people who are rich or wealthy or billionaires in government, right? such that where things like this happen, they are unshaken or their resolve is possibly strengthened. The more people we have who are financially comfortable, who run for office, the better I think our system would be. Because yes, whilst there may be perks of office and the allure and the razzmatazz, I mean, these people are financially buoyant enough not to have to amass state funds. So between the trio of the elder Adeleke, the governor, and the singer, that they're able to pay the salaries of civil servants or local government, for 6 months, and it's not a topical thing nationally, that means they're unshaken. But then it is a sorry thing that the government led by somebody who was once governor and was the first in quote victim of this situation is sad. Such a thing should not be repeating itself, because as governor Tinubu, the president had to go through this process, and it helped him to look inward to see avenues where Lagos State could generate money from. Now, the court has spoken. When the court spoke at that time as well, President Obasanjo decided to play legal gymnastics, because the court had said that states can create local governments, but they must be affirmed by the National Assembly. So the word at the time was that the creation of the local governments was inchoate. Until today, they remain inchoate. So which is what gives me a concern. Part of what the AP used as a campaign gimmicks was that when the APC got into power at the national level, the local governments created in Lagos State would be recognized by the Constitution. Now, the APC has been in power for 10 years. Those creations remain local council development authorities. I do not know that that thing has come up for discussion at the National Assembly. So, for me, there's a big question mark. And now you are doing the exact same thing that you complained about, that you were a victim of, to another person. But thankfully, the person is not beating a retreat. At that time, when Lagos State created those local governments, Ebonyi State also created local governments. Nasarawa State also created local governments. I don't know if there was any fourth state, but those ones had to beat a retreat because they said they couldn't do without allocations from the federal purse. But Lagos State government was able to hold its ground because internally generated revenue could take care of some of these things.
All right,
now we have a situation.
Yeah. If you could just land in 30 minutes on that.
I was just going to land on this. Now we have a situation where people are able to fund this from their private businesses and entities. So good for Osun State.
Good for Osun State. That's a very safe place to land. And it's also important for us to note that Osun State our government has headed to the courts to seek redress.
Indeed. It's good for the body of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Legal knowledge, sorry.
Absolutely. Jide, you've been fantastic as usual. Thank you so much for hopping on the show with us today. We appreciate it, and be sure to have another invite from us not so long from now.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
All right, Ikechukwu, 30 seconds for your thoughts.
Well, politicians are always politicians. The fact that it happened to this president does not mean that he will come in here and then decide not to do what he wants to do. It's all about, for him, it's all about the win. And if this governor of Osun State had been someone that is not from a wealthy background, he would have perhaps caved and maybe would have had a decamp somewhere. Which is why Jide said it's a good thing politicians are in politics. So billionaires are in politics. So it's one of those things, and I'm happy for. I just hope at the end of the day, the people of Osun wins. All right. That's a safe place for us to land, guys. Big thanks to the incredible guys in the PC Alpha Tunnel. Awesome job today. Thanks, guys. A bigger thanks goes to you for watching. Keep a date again with us, same time, same station for the midweek edition of Hashtag. Until then, I am Vivian. Ikechukwu is right here. We'll see you again not too long from now. Bye.